Welcome back. We're wrapping up our discussion on some of the school board spending that has been going on in this country. In this particular case, we're looking at several school boards in Ontario who seem to spend quite a bit of money hiring consultants in what seems like indoctrination. And joining me again is Melanie Bennet. Melanie, before we went to commercial break, we're talking about the Durham School Board spending nearly $700,000 on equity consultants. One of these consultants was the primary beneficiary of this money. You said almost 500,000 went just to one person?
Yeah, so two things popped out to me when I received all of that information. We received 600 pages in this particular FOI. And one particular consultant, Nicole West Burns, had a program called Disrupting and Dismantling Anti-Black Racism, and under a program that she calls Critically Conscious Practitioner Inquiry, which is a leadership training from the top down all the way down to the classroom. So it's implementing this critical race theory vision of education. So she received, in a space of 3 years to do this program, 445, I think, some odd number, $1,000. So the bulk of that money that we saw went to this one consultant. Now, I've actually found this particular consultant and her program at least 7 other boards, which I'm investigating right now to see the big
Wow.
picture, because this could be in the millions of dollars across multiple school boards that she's implementing this critical race theory program.
Which is a lot of
But the
money. I
other,
mean, we hear so much about how schools are underfunded and there's not enough time for band class or shop class, and CUPE's complaining, that's the union. Meanwhile, the school boards are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, perhaps even millions, you'll find out probably in a few months, on consultants like this.
well, what I also want to know is what line of the budget is this under? Because when you look at the budget, it doesn't really give you an indication of where this money is going for this ideological program. So that's one of the questions that I'm looking into that I'm hoping to get some answers to. But going back to the DDSB, one of the other things that stood out to me was it wasn't a huge amount compared to some others, but there was a invoice for $22,000 going to the Osgoode Hall, so York University Osgoode Hall Legal School, for this human rights-based education training. But I knew that this person called Patrick Case was actually leading this program, but he was also, at the same time that this training was being delivered to the DDSB, was also at the Ministry of Education. So he was sending school boards. So he was under the Equity Education Secretariat,
Hmm.
which was leading the change in education, this critical race theory change in education through the ministry, and at the same time sending school boards to his own course that he was leading on human rights, which ultimately is this
Wow.
radicalization of education. And so there's this
There's
network.
there are
I did
ethical breaches here.
well, I did ask York University about what they did to mitigate potential conflicts of interest, and they were adamant to me that there's absolutely no conflict of interest because he was not paid. But those conflicts of interest could be unpaid, they could be professional, they could be a whole bunch
Mhm.
of others. So I'm still investigating that through some FOIs right now, because but from what I can tell, they didn't actually do anything to mitigate that. So we'll see what comes out of that information request.
My goodness. And again, we keep hearing this education's underfunded. There are too many children in the classroom. That's because of funding cuts. But here it looks like there's a lot of money to be spent if you're a consultant. So are these consultants ever vetted at the school board? Do parents vet these consultants?
I have seen multiple invoices where they're single source. I have also seen evidence that some of them, although are not single sourced, that very few people, if only one, have actually applied for the contract. So it raises questions about whether that was advertised broadly. And I'm looking into one right now that looks at it was open, but the school board in this particular case didn't necessarily. There was a scoring system, and the scoring system was extremely low. So I mean, there's all kinds of funny business going on that hopefully over the next several months and years will I'll be able to uncover and share with the public.
And are the trustees, the school board trustees, aware of these contracts? Like, do they ask questions, or are these simply getting rubber stamped?
I think they just get rubber stamped.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the sad. Um, we only have about 40 seconds left, but I think the burning question on at least my mind, if not our viewers' mind, is so based on your research, do these types of consultants and sessions that train teachers actually benefit or improve classroom outcomes?
No, it has nothing to do with outcomes. It's everything to do with creating what they call a human rights-based approach to education, which I call the politicization or radicalization of education. It is creating a system of education that is based entirely in critical race theory. That's it. It's not about being better at math.
Yes, which is ironically what the school should be about. Anyhow, Melanie, it's been a pleasure to have you on. We'll have to have you again come on when you have more news to report to us. Thank you.
I'd love to. Thank you.
That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for watching.